Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome to Christ-centered relationships. You're so welcome and feel at home. You have arrived. So on this channel, I upload Christ-centered, relationships because our relationships are so critical and they will determine whether we inherit a heaven or not because of the activities which are involved in our relationships. Now, you know what? We need to be very, very critical and very prayerful and take your heart before you look for someone to marry or someone to get married to, because that is a lifetime that will affect your life and the way you are going to live on this planet Earth, whether you're going to be happy or not because of the kind of companion that you may choose. Yes. So you know what? There are certain things that we need to look for, or that you need to look for before you get into a relationship, or before it ultimately leads to marriage. So make sure that you watch this video until to the end. If you're new on my channel, you can click on that subscribe button and subscribe today, and make sure that you click on the notification bell so that every time we upload you'll be notified. Our topic today is actually very interesting. It says what to look for in him or her. What to look for in him or her. What you're supposed to look at if you are a man, or if you are a young man, you are trying to find someone to stay with, what you should look for into her. And if you are a young lady or a woman, what you should look for someone you want to be with in life. So the first thing that you need to consider is character and personality. Those statements are very, very important, or those words are so important, because it is useful, to observe a future spouse traits and characteristics. So his or her goodness, and a good temper, emotional stability, strength facing strength in facing difficulties, or present desirable qualities. Yes, whilst irritability, lack of control, pessimisms are to be avoided. Now, one mistake which most people make is that they go at appearance, the beauty, at the expense of characters, because at the expense of character and personality, because you know what? One day that beauty, that good looks, all those good looks, they're going to end. And because you know what? Character stands and lasts, unlike beauty. Beauty fades, because at some point one may be engaged in an accident, one may have a disease which can deform their body. So we need to be very careful when it comes to this, you know, point of choosing like character and personality. So actually, the Bible tells us in Proverbs chapter 31, verse 30, that beauty is deceitful and beauty is in vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord shall be praised. Actually brings us to another point of age. Of course, some people say that age is just a number, but age is generally true, that there is no barrier to love. So there should not be actually a large gap between the two of you, between the future spouses, of course, because marriage consists in living a tandem, and this is made more difficult. The greater the differences, the more difficult you'll be having in relating with so many matters. Yes, so actually, I know this can be so difficult and tempting, but you need to consider that, because ultimately when you are into it, it is very difficult to come out, and you come to realize when it is too late. Now, while you are still single, while you still have that choice, while you still have that time, make sure that you make a good decision. Now, we are coming to another point, like the level of education is also very important. There shouldn't be much disparity when it comes to education. So the level of academic achievement is another aspect which should be considered, or which should be taken into account when choosing a companion. Any relationship between two people includes an important intellectual component involving conversations, objectives, and activities, which become more difficult when there is a large difference between partners in terms of education levels. Actually, I heard of one story, where the man was so educated and the lady barely finished her secondary school, and the man was actually invited to a prestige event, and he was so ashamed to take along his spouse because he could not speak English. He could not you know, express herself well. And he ended up doing something nasty, got somebody else, which is not a good thing, because God will always judge us. So if you have married someone, you are already in a marriage where there is a great disparity in terms of education, you need to accept that. You need to accommodate your partner because you're already in it, and there's no way how you can get out. That would be unfair actually to your spouse. Aspect which needs to be considered is religion. This is so important. Yes, so those who believe and live according to religious teachings need to find someone who shares their conviction and practices. The aspect actually is of vital importance for the success of married life, as religious beliefs imply a philosophy which determines our lifestyle. So actually, when you don't consider that, if you don't put that into account, you have difficulties in your relationship, especially like your wife would be wanting to do something of her convictions according to her faith, and maybe you oppose that and vice versa. And when you have children, like there will be opposition in your house. Like the other partner would want their children to go to such a church, and the other one would want, that will bring confusion in your home. So that aspect should be well considered. Then another aspect which needs to be considered is social class. Social class. So, although we may always find ourselves over happy couples who come from different social classes, it should be recognized that while social differences may cause upsets in relationship between two people, it is therefore convenient to set one side, actually sides or sides on someone from a similar class. In this usually actually happens naturally, through work, normal work, and leisure environment. So, it is very difficult actually when you are from different social class, like you don't enjoy the certain activities which your friends doesn't like, vice versa. That brings problems actually, because it will be very difficult in your relationship, even when you are married. Like there will be two oppositions actually, and that actually will lead to violence. And actually, if you don't consider all those points, we've discussed on, like you never have peace in your home. You think that marriage is not a good thing. You think that marriage is useless, you know, because marriage is sacred. It was designed by God so that we should be happy and enjoy our marriage. Our marriage is not something that we should actually think that it's hell on earth. It should be actually a small heaven on this planet Earth. So thank you so much, dear friends, for watching this video. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, you can click on that red subscribe button and subscribe now. So if you have loved this lesson, actually, you can comment in the section below. Yes, so I upload videos on this channel every 2 to 3 days. And make sure that you check out for videos for 2 to 3 days. So thank you so much for watching. God bless you. See you in my next video. Bye-bye and take care.